breaking right now, shocking news that Prince Harry will not return to the UK for his own uncle's funeral. This is Robert Fellows, who is the husband of Diana's sister, who Harry claims to be very close to. And Calvin, what's most shocking is the reason behind this. He says it's because of security concerns. It's because of this ongoing row that he's having with his dad, who he's desperate to step in and force the government to give taxpayers money, our money, Calvin, so he can be protected even though he's no longer a working member of the royal family when he's in the UK. But there's so much irony in this, Calvin, because in the week that he says it's too dangerous to go to Norfolk, which is where this funeral is being held, he's going to go to Colombia. Instead, one of the world's most dangerous countries. What do you make of it, Calvin?
It's just another lefty thing, isn't it? This is what they do. Everything's politics for them. He's making a point. He's making a point to his father. It's not safe for me to come back to the UK unless you give me what I want. It's like a toddler having a tantrum. That's exactly what it is. I want this toy. If you don't give me this toy, I'm going to stamp my feet in the supermarket and scream until I get it. This is Harry for you, unfortunately. The fact that he thinks he can't visit Norfolk, that's one of the safest places in the world. Yet he's going to go to Colombia. Are you mad? Bless him. On Diana's side of the family as well, who he claims to be closer to, and he's obviously still estranged his father's side of the family, but on his mother's side, this is really strange for him. And actually, I bet many of his relatives will be upset by the fact that he won't be there. It's a great shame. I feel sorry for him. I'll keep him in my prayers and hope that he can come around to some common sense and put his left-wing woke politics aside, because this is family and nothing's more important than that.
I know, but isn't that the irony, Calvin? Constantly, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are talking about the importance of family, the importance of loved ones. But I will never forget the night, well, it was 2 nights before the late Queen's death. And she had just pulled out of the Privy Council. And I knew that things were not good with her health. And Prince Harry was in the country, Calvin, at the time. And I was on my GB News show and I just learned about the Queen, and I think I was feeling quite emotional about the whole thing, and I just spoke off the cuff. Nothing was scripted or anything like that. But I said, Harry, just go. Forget this feud. Just go to Balmoral now. Go and see your grandmother before it's too late. He didn't, so he hadn't seen her for a long time before her death. And I feel like this is a new low, because it's not even about visiting Robert Fellows before he dies. It's about being there for the rest of his family. I mean, could you imagine Diana's reaction to the fact that he wouldn't be at his own uncle's funeral?
I know, and I think no matter how estranged he is from his brother, I'm sure his brother would appreciate him by his side at an event like this. And we all do. We've all got families. Every family's got some kind of strain. And, you know, I love my sister to bits, but if I wasn't speaking to my sister and someone in our family died, I know I would be there for her regardless of what had gone on between us, because that's what family does. Blood is thicker than water, and we have to come together in the end. And it's a great, great shame that he hasn't done that for his uncle, but also that he didn't do that for his grandmother. And he will probably have that on his conscience for the rest of his life.
Oh, absolutely he will. Absolutely he will.
For most families, funerals are moments when personal disagreements are set aside. A time for reflection, a time for remembrance, and a time for relatives to come together, regardless of whatever conflicts may exist behind the scenes. But when it comes to Prince Harry and the royal family, even occasions of mourning can become the subject of intense public scrutiny. Now, fresh reports suggest that Harry could miss his uncle's funeral. And according to critics featured in this discussion, the reason may be linked to his ongoing tensions with King Charles and the wider royal family. One commentator goes even further, comparing Harry's behavior to a toddler having a tantrum. The language is blunt, the criticism is severe, and as you might expect, the reaction has been immediate. So, what exactly is being claimed? Why is this story generating so much attention? And what does it reveal about the state of Harry's relationship with the royal family today? Let's get into it. The video opens with a discussion of Prince Harry's possible absence from the funeral, and immediately, the creator frames the story as part of a much larger family conflict. This isn't presented as a scheduling issue. It isn't presented as a travel issue. Instead, The discussion focuses almost entirely on the idea that unresolved tensions with the royal family may be influencing Harry's decision. And that's important because it changes the entire tone of the story. The funeral itself becomes symbolic. It's no longer just about attending a family event. It becomes another test of whether the royal rift is healing or getting worse.
And the thing that I think is so shocking, Calvin, look, there's lots of times that ordinary folk cannot attend funerals because it can be down to cost or not being able to miss work. And that's understandable. But when you're one of the most privileged men in the world, and when you're rich, and when you're not doing it because of a petty row, which, by the way, Calvin, it's never going to be resolved, this row. That's the other frustrating thing with Harry. It's like, can you imagine if Charles, just to appease Harry, overturned a government decision? That's when you start getting into the area of constitutional crisis. The government has looked at the rules, Calvin. They do not believe it is appropriate to give security for Harry paid for by the taxpayers when he's not a member of the royal family and when he's making millions and millions of his own money in the US. Just like, by the way, if Elon Musk comes to the UK on personal business, he doesn't get security paid for by you or me.
Quite right, too. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to pay for Elon Musk's security. I don't want to pay for Harry's security. He's not a working role. He doesn't deserve it. It doesn't need it, in that fact. And you're quite right. If he's making Netflix money and Spotify money, he can probably afford his own security. But actually, I think we need to go a step further. I've been saying this all along. I've been saying this on your show for years. We need to strip him of his titles.
Yes.
You know, if he's no longer a working role, he should no longer be a royal, full stop.
Absolutely.
To understand why this story is attracting so much attention, the video takes viewers back through the history of Harry's relationship with the royal family. We see footage of Harry alongside King Charles, Prince William, other senior royals, moments that once projected unity and family connection. But the creator quickly contrasts those images with the years of tension that followed. The departure from royal duties, the Oprah interview, the Netflix series, the release of Spare, the public criticism, the private disagreements that became public controversies. All of these events are presented as chapters in a conflict that still hasn't been fully resolved. One of the most powerful themes in the video revolves around the significance of funerals themselves. The creator emphasizes that family funerals are often viewed as occasions where personal differences are put aside, moments where attendance carries symbolic importance, not just for the individual being remembered, but for the family as a whole. And that's why the possibility of Harry missing the event is treated as such a major story. Because for many viewers, the question isn't simply whether he attends. The question is what his decision might say about the current state of family relationships. And that's where the emotional weight of the story comes from. The video then explores one of the most frequently discussed issues surrounding Harry's visits to Britain: security. For years, security arrangements have been a major factor in conversations about Harry's travel plans. The creator acknowledges this issue but appears skeptical that it fully explains the situation. Instead, the discussion repeatedly returns to family tensions. The implication is that emotional and personal disagreements may be playing a larger role than practical concerns.
And there's actually, Calvin, really interesting you raise that. There's a growing movement, actually, and I'm going to speak to Robert Jobson about this because I'm fascinated to know what he thinks, but there's a growing movement within the royal family that actually says we've got to deal with the line of succession here. And hear me out on this, Calvin, because William is obviously the heir to the throne, and then it's his 3 children. But you'll remember William travels with his family, including on helicopters and planes, which was something that the Queen, the late Queen, was really opposed to because she thought that it put the line of succession under some threat. Because, look, you just imagine a worst-case scenario where, and please God, and I don't want to put this out into the universe, but just imagine a worst-case scenario where something happens to William and his 3 children. You're in a situation where you have King Harry and Queen Meghan, which would be the end of the royal family, wouldn't it? So that's why it's not just about the titles anymore, Calvin. It's about, I think, something more significant. It's about looking at a change of law, and this would be very controversial, and I don't think Charles would want to do it. This is the problem, but I think William would want to do it. A change of law that would mean that Harry would be removed from the line of succession. And even more significantly, Calvin, there's another idea, which is that you would take George, because George is obviously under 18, and if something were to happen to Charles and William, you would take George, he would obviously be king, but you would make Princess Anne his regent. So she would effectively be doing the job of monarch. Because could you imagine if George was king, if something happened to Charles and William, but actually because of the line of succession, Harry would be regent?
Yes, I can imagine. And we've had similar situations in the past when King Henry VIII died and Edward VII took over, and politicians essentially took over the king because he was too young to govern for himself. And we could see a similar situation with a woke lefty celebrity from LA, formerly Prince Harry, essentially governing from behind the scenes. That would be dire. That would be disastrous. So yeah, I think they need to seriously consider who's next in line for the throne. Actually, I think Prince William needs to step up and listen to his late grandmother, because yes, family is important. We've said this throughout this conversation, but of course the country is more important. The crown is important.
To be honest, I'm usually pretty on side with William about things, but I think it's so irresponsible, Calvin. Yeah. Even the other day, right? Do you remember he went to, what was it? Was it the Olympics? Or no, football, Euros final. And he went with George on a plane. Now, if that plane were to crash, you have a very sick king. You are damning the United Kingdom to King Harry and Queen Meghan. Just don't do it. Just don't take the risk. And I understand it's a bit difficult when you've got young kids and he wants them to live a normal life, but I think they could find a way to make it work for George to go with maybe another member of the family on the plane, or someone who he trusted, or the nanny. Could the nanny not take George on the plane with security?
I mean, I have it on very good authority that the king's cancer is getting worse and his health is not in a good state. And so times like this, we need to be especially careful of how we protect the sovereign, how we protect the crown and the future of the sovereign, the future of the crown. So Prince William needs to be taking extra cautious steps to protect his son and have some kind of separation from them when they're traveling, especially by a plane, for the country's sake, because the country will be...
I just think it doesn't even matter what form of transportation it is, Calvin. I would say do not travel with George. There is too much at stake. And I would also argue that the royal family should be considering actually removing Harry from the line of succession by law. Because things are going so badly for him anyway, Calvin. Did you see he's lost another staff member this week as chief of staff? Josh Kettler quitting after just 3 months. It's like the 18th member of staff he's lost. I mean, God, what's going on?
Why can Harry and Meghan not keep staff? What is it about this pair that people keep leaving or getting fired left, right, and centre? It seems like they're not a nice couple to work for.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assumption, Father Calvin. Look, thank you so much for breaking off your holiday. Say hi to Lawrence for me. Have an incredible time, and don't stay in exile. You've got to come back. You've got to come back.
Dan, I really don't want to come back. In fact, the mosquitoes are eating me now, so I'm going to go and dive in the sea, but I don't want to come back to England.
No, it's sad. It's a sorry state of affairs, but we need folk like you. Father Calvin Robinson, thank you so much. I will see you next week.
Whether viewers agree with that interpretation or not, it's clearly the direction the creator wants the audience to consider. This is where the tone of the video becomes significantly sharper. The phrase, like a toddler having a tantrum, is introduced. And it's one of the strongest pieces of language used throughout the discussion, because it doesn't merely criticize Harry. It characterizes his behavior as immature, as emotionally driven, as an overreaction. And once that comparison is introduced, it influences how viewers interpret the rest of the story. The creator uses the comment to reinforce the idea that Harry is allowing personal grievances to outweigh family obligations. Supporters of Harry would strongly dispute that characterization. But within the video's narrative, it becomes a central talking point. As expected, public reaction highlighted in the video is deeply divided. Some viewers believe Harry should attend regardless of any disagreements. They argue that family funerals are bigger than personal conflicts. They see attendance as a matter of respect and responsibility. Others take a different view. They point out that the public does not know the full details of private family relationships. They argue that outsiders cannot accurately judge the personal considerations involved. And this divide reflects a broader pattern that has followed Harry for years. People often look at the same situation and reach completely different conclusions, depending on how they view the Sussexes and the royal family. As the video approaches its conclusion, it becomes clear that this story isn't really about a single funeral. It's about what that funeral represents: family, reconciliation, distance, loyalty, and unresolved conflict. The creator uses the funeral discussion as a way to revisit a much larger question. Has the relationship between Harry and the royal family improved at all? Or are the divisions still as deep as ever? Because if major family occasions continue to become sources of controversy, many viewers will inevitably wonder whether reconciliation remains possible. And that's the question the video leaves hanging in the air. Not whether Harry attends, but what his decision says about the future of the royal family itself. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think family events should always come before personal disagreements? Or do you believe Prince Harry has valid reasons for keeping his distance? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more royal family analysis, celebrity reactions, and in-depth commentary. Subscribe for more royal breakdowns bell.